thought I would show you the front gardens, garden blue and garden red, and my back porch, because I do have a couple of new plants up there. I redid the back porch, and I've got a basil and a lemon thyme right there in little pots. Kind of updated my back deck a little bit because I've been hanging out there back there. And when I bought the basil, it was in a pot and it had like 6 in it, so I separated them out and I put more there. It's just the Genevieve basil. But these are the dragon tongue beans, obviously, that's dying out. That was where the red bush beans were, and I just took them out. These pumpkins I've left out here on purpose because look at the vine borer damage on them. I was keeping them for decorations, but obviously they're not gonna stay the way that they are. But I wanted to show you these. These are those black boxes that I was gonna let the kids plant, and we kind of did plant them, but we didn't go crazy and plant a million things. You see this tomato that I just threw in here? This was one of Daddy's tomatoes that I had left over that was in a solo cup. I'm getting tomatoes off of it, obviously. I've been getting tomatoes off of it. So it was a teeny tiny little thing. It's sprawling. I have not pruned it. I've not cut suckers, and it's doing great. Now you'll notice here that there's nothing here now. I pulled out the kohlrabi that was here because it got so eat up with caterpillars. It was ridiculous, and there was just no point in it, so I just went ahead and took it out. Obviously the onions have not done well. I'm thinking I may have just timed that wrong, and they've not done. Oh, sorry. I'm setting my basket down because that is what I'm after, is this banana pepper. All of my pepper plants, like, none of them have done well. They've gotten like weirdly tall. I'm being buzzed by a fly. Now these are finally starting to do something, but these are supposed to be my peach jalapeno, this one and this one right here, but they're not. They're green. I'm giving them time to see if they'll turn. Those are the jumbo, like, giant jalapenos, and so I have gotten a few off of those. I've just been drying them because I'm getting a few at a time and not really a whole lot. This is where the kale was, but I planted flowers in this. We've got marigolds and the zinnias in here mainly, and it's I think it's 2 colors of zinnias, maybe 2 colors of marigold as well, but I don't remember. I just spread seeds. It was fine. Here's another one of those tomato plants. I told you, just barely alive. Put it in here. I'm gonna get tomatoes off of it as well. So I'm really kind of shocked. That's actually a Brussels sprout back there that I buried in extra dirt because I thought it was dead. It is coming back. It's the only one alive because the caterpillars are horrendous right now. I actually have bought the stuff to do the netting before I plant my brassicas this winter. But yeah, this is the dragon tongue beans. I'm kind of just letting die out. I need to trim them and get them out of the barrel. But yeah, these are the brassicas that are out. This is Brussels sprouts, but you can see what is going on here. They are absolutely decimated, which a wasp is there hunting. Do you see her? Apparently she's looking for caterpillars to eat. Do your job, lady. Good job. I'm gonna leave you alone, leave you to it. But they are absolutely covered up. Like, just, you can see one down in there. See that caterpillar? They're everywhere. I've given up spraying BT. It's just all over the place. There's that different color nasturtium. It's more of an orange. Cannot remember the name of it. I'll have to get my seed packets out. But the acorn squash, second round of acorn squash, is doing well. They are growing, putting out blooms. Nasturtium over there in the corner. Those are potatoes that are mixed in with that. I'm curious to see if I get better potatoes out of those than the green bags. Some of the green bag ones have come back. I'll show them to you in a minute, but they've come back. But yeah, this is carrots. I left one to go to seed, and you see I'm fixing to get a lot of seed. Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of that, but we'll see. I'm debating on whether or not to do carrots in this same bed again. I may do them in a different bed this year. So, but yeah, some of the potatoes have come back. See, I thought they were dead and dying off, and they have come back. So I'm gonna leave them alone and end up getting stuff out of them. But yeah, we'll walk out through here. I'm starting to get some okra and stuff pretty regularly, like a handful a day. And of course I'm still letting the pole beans, part of them, dry, and so I can try them as a dry bean. The noodle beans are prolific. They are everywhere, all over the place. And so we beat them last night. And oh, I harvested 2 of the eggplants, and we had them with supper last night, like just sliced, tossed in olive oil with seasoning, baked them. Amazing, so good. They didn't get like super big. They were about like this big around. Perfect for just the 2 of us, and really, really, really tasty. But they were starting to get dull and they were a little soft, so I assumed that they were ready to pick. So I went ahead and got them, and they were really tasty. So I do have more on there that I'm hoping to get more as the season goes on. So the eggplants are definitely something I will be growing again. Look here. I always am just super fascinated by them. Look at these. That's strawberries down in here. Like, starting to get some decent sized strawberries again, but it's just really random. Like, so I don't think to pick them or to look for them, because it's not, you know, it's been out of season. It's not been doing it. I've been getting a whole lot of them, so it's surprising. The basil, the oregano is starting to die back. I'm still letting the bees have as much of that as they want. All of that will eventually be cut back as we go into fall. It will die off. The catnip is a huge hit right now. Obviously the cats love it, but the bees love it as well, so that will be cut back. Sage will be trimmed in. The rosemary is healthy, and there's my okra forest that I have been having to climb in and out of to get okra, because it's like a forest in there, and you have to like hunker down and look and see if you see any of the okra, because if you don't, you'll miss one and it'll be massive and you won't be able to eat it. Speaking of, I have some right over there that I need to get, and some over there, but I'll get in there later. I also need to start trimming my basil. I've got some trying to get flour. I need to make some more pesto. Now my zinnias, I mean, this thing is still producing like crazy. I'm excited. I took this head off of this one, got 1,000,000 seeds off of it, and if you notice, spread some seeds down in there. Weeds growing in here, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. I will eventually take this head and this head and put them in a jar with the seeds and keep them. And it's crazy because if you don't pick these in time, they end up turning out real leathery and just awful, but it is taking forever for them to dry. I mean, I'm not seeing any of them that are like dried up, and it's been 95 degrees outside. Like, here's one that's like dried. Sorry, there. But otherwise there's not. Now some of these, I probably should pick some of these, because the new rounds are putting on flowers, so I may be starting to get beans off of the new ones soon, so I need to keep an eye on that. Ground cherries are prolific. It has begun to be more than a handful a day. Like, you see these that are all over the ground, and I'm sorry, the camera angle is like crazy, so sorry. But yeah, you're seeing them like all down in there. I've been like, where they're getting out of the garden, they're getting everywhere. But I wanted to show you some of this stuff. Obviously the tomatoes are still growing, super healthy, tall. The one that was broken over is still growing. It's still producing. The tomatoes are ripening, so I'm leaving it. I'm not going to cut it off. I got like 4 or 5 huge tomatoes off of the solar flare, the lemon boy. I mean, I got a massive one on the lemon boy. I meant to post a picture, and I actually took a picture. I haven't done it yet. But yeah, you see more of the ground cherries. But I wanted to point something else out in addition to the ground cherries. You see how this one's putting on? This one was a sucker off of that midnight snack tomato. It was just a big sucker that I clipped, put in the ground, didn't even put any of the root growth or root stimulator powder on it, just stuck it in the ground. And then look at those beautiful little midnight snack tomatoes. They're gorgeous. And essentially it was a free tomato plant because I cut it off of the other one, and it's growing prolifically and is happy producing fruit. So you can do that. You can take a sucker off of a plant and completely forget about it and it still survives. So the eggplants, now this plant, this is the one that I got the 2 off of. It looks like it's dying now that I'm saying that, and I don't know what's going on, because obviously this one's like really healthy, doing great. Don't know what's going on with that one. I'll have to look at it. But you see these big tomatoes, like I got one there and there's one down in there, and obviously there's all those little ones up in there. I have been dehydrating a lot of the cherry tomatoes. I have stored some of the cherry tomatoes in oil and put them in the fridge. Really like them that way. Like them dehydrated with a little bit of salt. They're so good. You see the cucumbers are dying off. Now they're still producing, and I got one off of it yesterday, and they're still not bitter. We're having 95 to 100 degree days, still not bitter, still producing. Obviously some of them starting to die off, and I think that's because more of a vine borer damage than the heat. And I've just not been fighting it. I've been letting nature take its course. The only thing that really bothers me is this one is still really green at the top and healthy, but the vine borers have obviously gotten to it. I have one right there that I'm hoping will get a little bit bigger and actually give us a melon to try. Got another small one there, but that vine looks really pitiful. I don't know that it's going to survive. So hopeful, but don't know. Look at that little splash of color in there. That solar flare. It's over there. I'm going to have to pick that. And then look at those little bright midnight snacks, their little red bottoms. They're so pretty. And then the noodle bean forest. Yeah, the noodle beans are crazy. And you see that stupid bug that's flying around? Yeah, God, I've got to cut some of these. They're going, some of them are going tough. I need to come out and cut them. So yeah, this is on the agenda. I've still got some in the fridge. But yeah, that's on the plan to get done. And of course, I have another bag of beans in the fridge. And then look at all those, and I can't get to them. I told Toby that he needs to come out and help me because I short and I can't get to them. Some of them are still good. Some of them are probably just going to be left for seed at this point. Trying not to walk through the spider web that's building up there. I've gotten several dried pods off of this now. I have started saving some seeds. I think they're really cool when they start drying out. Look at the colors when they start drying out. They're just really pretty. But yeah, these big fat chunky ones, like the seeds are going to be really good, and these, like the beans, are going to be really healthy. So but yeah, look at the colors when they start drying out. They're just really pretty. But yeah, so starting to save seed from those. These are drying out a lot faster than those other ones, but I don't intend to use these for dried seeds. Just straight up, look at this, it's climbing the trellis. Just using it for saved seeds, so we have some for next year. Look at another one of those that's bent over and broke. But it's still producing. The stuff is still there, and then it's like doing a swoop and gonna go back up and grow. And I've been pulling those oh, what do they call them? They're army something caterpillars off of these. I have not, knock on wood, not seen a single hornworm on any of these tomato plants. I did find one in one of the black boxes on one of the plants. I got rid of him fairly quickly, but you see all this crazy growth. I have not seen any hornworm damage. I have not seen any hornworms at all in here. The only caterpillars I have seen are ones that I've put in previous videos that are those weird black striped ones, and oh God, what is the name? It's army something. I don't remember. But those are the only ones that I'm seeing. And so it's, you know, kind of that thing. But I'm gonna take you back over here to the noodle beans and tell you a little bit about the bees. What is going on? So, see that? Hanging. Oops. Hope I'm in the bed. Okay. Like all in these things. So the bees were being a bit crazy the other day. The neighbors called and was like, hey, your bees are not letting anybody like anywhere near the hives. It was time to refill the feeder anyway. And so I did do that. I probably shouldn't be messing with these. You can probably hear everything through the trellis. But I suited up, went down there, and just was going to check the beetle trap and was going to refill their feeder. I wasn't going to do a full hive inspection. They were angry. Oh my goodness, they were angry. And so it was a situation to where even in my suit, I made the mistake of wearing shorts underneath my bee suit, which I've done before and not had a problem. But they got me, apparently my pants were too tight against my skin. Two of them got me on the inside of my leg through my suit, and another one was trying to get under my sleeve or underneath my gloves and got me through my suit on this side. Surprisingly though, I mean, so I've broke my streak. I have been stung, got stung 3 times that night. But surprisingly, it didn't hurt that bad. I think it just might be because they barely got me through the suit rather than being able to fully get me and, you know, put as much venom as possible in there. But I had something like 100 of them trying to attack me that night. And I don't know why they were so aggressive that night. We don't know. And we did check the other hives, check the beetle traps in the other hives. I looked for evidence of like maybe a raccoon or a skunk that may have been trying to get into the hives or, you know, something like that. But ultimately I just refilled their feeder and left them alone because they were angry and had already, like I said, got me 3 times. And so I just, you know, refilled it, put the lid back on it. I only had 1 beetle in my hive trap, which is positive because that means there's probably not that many in my hive, meaning my hive is healthy enough to repel them. So that was a positive. But yeah, I am no longer in the no stung group. I have been stung, and I'm getting crawled on by an ant. Sorry. Because we have fire ants here, and I'll be standing in a nest of them and not realize it and severely regret it later. So yeah, we have to be really careful with that. But yeah, I'm gonna harvest these. The bees, we're gonna give it another week to 10 days. I'm gonna fully open the hive back up and check on them, but we're definitely gonna smoke them. I'm not gonna be in a hurry. I didn't smoke them the last time because I thought, oh, I'm just feeding them. It won't be that bad because I'm not fully opening and taking frames out. It didn't matter. I mean, and I wasn't even anywhere near the front either. I mean, they were just angry. And I've already told my husband, I was like, so help me, if they're this angry come this spring, you know, barring them dying throughout the winter, hoping to keep them alive through winter. But if they're still this angry throughout, you know, to spring next year, I will requeen them. I mean, they've got to calm down. My neighbor does have kids that's down there. They know better than to get around the hives, and my neighbors actually have bees. Like, it isn't just my bees down there, but my bees seem to be the most aggressive right now. And I was hoping after that last inspection and everything kind of went well and they seemed to be calming down, that we were on the path to better. They, like 3 steps back, were like severely angry. I'm talking like I had probably 100 on me, like trying to get me through my suit during that, and 3 of them managed to do it. And while I was feeding them, I had 10 on my netting in my face, like trying to sting me through my netting. So I mean, it was a pretty intense, and I don't know what caused them to be that way. So we're still learning and playing it by ear. But I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna harvest these noodle beans, and you could probably hear all of that because I realized in the last video that when I hang you up right there, you can hear everything that touches this trellis. And so that's why I'm not like, oh, I'm harvesting noodle beans while I'm on the phone with you, because you could hear every little movement of that. Speaking of, I love my wind chimes. Gonna get on this because we've got friends coming over to play with the kids. But yeah, things are changing for the summer, and it won't be too much longer. I'll be doing a video about starting the seeds for fall, because I'll be starting some of my brassicas inside and getting them ready. But I did buy tubing and the landscaping, not landscaping, the trellis rods. I'm gonna put hoops up. I'm probably gonna have 2 small hoops in this bed right here. I'm thinking about using this one for the brassicas this year, just because it is open and I've already got it mostly cleared out from where the corn and stuff was in it. We'll probably do the purple top turnips and the parsnips and maybe the carrots in here, because those are the things that I'm going to direct sow. And so that won't be too much longer, and I'll be throwing those in here. and we're going to be putting that brassica netting, the butterfly netting over it, because these caterpillars, like, you can only put so much BT on it. They are awful here, and it doesn't matter. Like, I had this problem last fall because last fall was my first time doing a fall garden, and everybody told me, oh, it'll be so much better because, you know, the caterpillars aren't as bad in the fall and in the winter because it's cold. Caterpillars are everywhere. I had such a problem with them on my kale and on the Brussels sprouts and the cabbage and just everything last year, that I was just like, this is awful. So I have already bought the stuff and I am prepared to do netting for this year because I want to prevent those butterflies from ever getting anywhere near them. So we'll see how that goes this year. Trial and error, and we are learning. But I will talk to you guys later. I just wanted to update you a little bit because I was able to get away and have some time to myself for a little bit. And I haven't done the front garden in a while. So I wanted to do those just to talk about the tomatoes that were accident tomatoes, just extra random tomatoes. And I'm getting fruit off of them. So you don't have to be super diligent with things. Just put it out there and maybe you'll get something. So you guys have a good weekend. Bye.